Hello. I uh hmm I don't really know how to even start this communication. So I'm just going to go for it. Back in November of 1984, I was sitting in the den of the house that I lived in with four other people. And I was kind of watching the clock because we were expecting to watch a television show that was coming on at 9 o'clock p.m. I kept looking over at the clock and watching. We were all talking and visiting, and I saw the clock, little red LED display, change from 8:59 to 9 o'clock. And I said, "Hey, we need to change the channel. That show we're getting ready to watch is coming on." And instantaneously, without any thought about it, without any physical feeling, nothing, whoop, I was floating over my body. And wow, this is weird. Thought I was having some kind of a dream or something at first. And no, I wasn't under the influence of any drugs or alcohol or anything like that. And as I looked at each person in the room, instantly I knew, and I do mean to use absolutes here, absolutely everything about each one of those other four individuals in that room. And then all of a sudden I was floating up through the ceiling, and I could see the inside of the attic and then the roof of the house, and then these two, I don't know how to describe them other than just exquisitely beautiful beings kind of latched onto me or grabbed me or something, and we went zooming out through space, out through the universe at an incredible rate of speed. Knowing what I know about physics and stuff, we were traveling at many times faster than what we would call the speed of light. The speed of light, for those who don't know, is approximately 186,000 miles per second. Okay? We were going faster than that by many fold. The way I know that is because I kept noticing these little blips of light. Pew, 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 pew. We were going past. And I communicated with those two beings. And by the way, our communication was instantaneous. Didn't take any speaking of words or anything. As soon as I thought it, it was communicated. Even, faster than I could think, if you can understand that. What are those? And instantaneously, galaxies. And I'm like, wow. And then I started sensing a sensation that I had never experienced before. At the time, I'm 1984, I'm 25 years old. Is that right? Yeah, November. 25 years old. And I had never experienced that sensation before. And again, the communication is, what's that? and instantaneously back, love, pure love. And as we're zipping through the universe, so to speak, or beyond, I don't really know, but I saw the future. And some of you astrophysicist type people might be able to comprehend what I'm talking about there. I don't know. But what I witnessed horrified me. It was this entire earth, all of the atmosphere, everything on above the ground, the air, even the water itself burning in a extremely hot, beyond being able to look at it, intense fire and heat. And the realization that what I was looking at was the result of a nuclear holocaust. And I began communicating to those two beings that were escorting me. I've got to go back. I've got to try to help. I've got to try to stop this. And instantaneous communicated back to me was, no, it won't do any good. You can't take the knowledge back with you. And I got the impression that it was like millions or billions had tried and nobody had ever been successful. And in that moment, I remembered something that my mother had taught me when I was 4 years old. She called it hanging a tail on it. That was her way of explaining associative memory techniques to a 4-year-old. And that is where you, if you want to remember something, you associate it to other things other than what specifically it is you want to remember, so that it creates more than one, it's called a synapse or a spot in your brain, so that there's more than one neuro pathway in your brain, so you have a much greater chance of remembering what it is you want to remember. I think I explained that correctly. So I hung a tail on the knowledge I wanted to bring back. I'm still zooming through space, whatever that really is. And the tail I hung on the knowledge was reference point. Now remember, this is November of 1984, 2 nights before Thanksgiving, actually. And I've spent, 16 and 26, the last 32 years pondering what the knowledge was that I hung that tail on. I remembered that when I had the thought or the notion of, Jesus, help me. Boom, instantaneously I was back in my body, sitting on the sofa in that den of that house. I was like really cold. I was like, dang, rubbing my thighs and trying to warm up. And about that time I recognized that, dang, I had messed myself and peed myself. And oh, one of the other 4 people that were in the room walked back in the room. And I was like, hey, where is everybody? And she looked at me and screamed at the top of her lungs in terror and yelled into the back of the house, he's alive! I was like, well, heck yeah, I'm alive. She turns around, she looks at me, you were dead! And I was like, no, I wasn't. And she goes, yes, you were. You were dead. Dead. I was like, okay, well, maybe for a second or two. It happens to people all the time. It's no really big deal. And she goes, a second or two. Look. She looks over at the clock. She goes, look at the clock. And I looked over at the clock and I saw the clock change from 9:44 to 9:45. I had been dead for 45, almost precisely 45 human minutes. To me, the whole experience felt like maybe 10 or 15 seconds at the absolute most. So there's a lot more going on right now on planet Earth than human brains can possibly comprehend. Just the fact that it came to me just a little less than 13 minutes ago now to sit down and make this video, I don't know. I really don't know, other than what I've just told you. Maybe this is the reference point. I know Donald John Trump, and I know what he's up to. He's trying to cause a nuclear holocaust. That's what he's really up to. Beneath all of the other nonsense that people are saying and postulating about what he is or isn't or anything else, that's what that individual is up to. And he needs to be stopped before he's successful. Have a nice day and a blessed rest of eternity. You're already in eternity, by the way. You're just here in a carbon-12 based human body for a fraction of a billisecond compared to eternity.